6:30, I'd like to call the meeting in order. First thing I'd like to do is welcome our guests. Next item on the is the approval of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Motion from Mark Baker. Second.
Well, second.
Second from Naomi. All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0, the agenda is approved. I don't believe we have anybody signed up for open forum. But during the open forum of the March 15th school board meeting, Mr. Larry Hunt expressed concerns about how the school spends money and if that process has the necessary oversight to prevent fraud similar to what happened over 10 years ago. He mentioned that bills should be questioned in public. The current process for making purchases done in writing and receive supervisor approval and approval from the superintendent. When checks are cut, they are reviewed by 2 board officers and signed by these officers. Each month, all funds spent are provided to the entire board, which has the opportunity to review these expenditures. And if there are no questions or irregularities, the board approves the transfer and payment of bills. The money spent has a further system of checks and balances through an annual audit. Further, the district financial records are an open record. And should a district citizen need to review spending, also the budget is an open record. Mr. Hunt also said there's a need for more open discussion in public meetings. Topics that need to be addressed in public and items that require a voter board or as monthly board meeting agenda is just then. All board members can ask that an item be included on the agenda, which is then approved by the board president. If any citizen of the district thinks that an item should be brought to the attention of the board, they should contact the superintendent or sign up to speak to the board during the open forum. That would bring these issues out into the open also. And I want to thank Mr. Hunt for his questions last meeting. Okay, next item is the consent agenda, which consists of the regular and special open minutes of March 15th to March 29th, and approval of the FFA trip to Dallas, Texas from July 11th to 13th. You were at the special meeting.
Right.
So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion from Mark. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Sean. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 5 abstentions. 1. Motion carries. Next item is approval of transfer and payment of bills.
Nobody presented any questions.
Did anybody have any questions on any of the bills that were presented?
I looked really hard this time, but couldn't find any.
Good deal. Well, I need a motion to approve the transfer and payment of bills.
Move to approve the transfer payment.
Motion from Mark. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Hannah. Any questions? All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0, motion carries. Next item is reorganization of the board. First thing is certifying of the election results.
For Gasconade County, there were no votes received. And for Osage County, the official election results were Jamie Bish with 221, Brett Phillips 300, Albert Beakey 100, Andrew Womack 151, Scotty Dunecker 170, a write-in for Jamie Bowser with 1, write-in Casey Dunecker for 2, write-in for Sam Niederhelm for 3, and then 3 unresolved write-ins.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion to certify the election results.
I move we certify the election results.
Motion from Sean. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Hannah. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. 6-0, motion carries. The election results are certified. At this time, I will turn over chair of the board to the superintendent, and our secretary will swear in our new members.
But it's still primary.
Yeah.
Brett Phillips. I don't know where you want us to stand at. Right here, fine. Sure, Ty. Great, perfect. All right, let's stand right here. All right, raise your right hand.
One at a time, together.
Just one at a time. I can't do two at once. This is gonna be a fast city one. I state your name.
I, Brett Phillips,
Do solemnly swear that I am at least 24 years of age.
do solemnly swear that I'm at least 24 years of age,
Right, they make me read it. That I am a citizen of the United States
that I am a citizen of the United States,
and a resident taxpayer of Osage County R2 School District
that I am a resident payer of the Osage County R2 School District
in Osage County in the state of Missouri,
in Osage County in the state of Missouri,
and that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
and that I will abide by and uphold the Osage County R2 School District Board Member Code of Ethics,
and I will abide by and follow the Osage County R2 School District Code of Ethics. I think I'm bad if I messed that one up.
That's all right. And I will faithfully demean myself in office.
I will faithfully demean myself in office.
All right, congratulations, sir. Thank you. You have to go over there. You have to go over there.
And I hold the paper, but I was thinking, let me take the paper and read from it.
Well, I'll flip it to you.
Okay, what
Good
am
luck. Ready?
I doing?
Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Jamie Bish,
Do solemnly swear that I am at least 24 years of age,
solemnly swear that I'm at least 24 years of age,
that I am a citizen of the United States
that I am a citizen of the United States
and a resident taxpayer of Osage County R2 School District
and a resident taxpayer of the Osage County R2 School District
in Osage County
in Osage County
and the state of Missouri,
in the state of Missouri,
Where am I signing?
and that I will support the constitutions of the United States and of the state of Missouri,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Missouri,
and that I will abide by and uphold the Osage County R2 School District Board Member Code of Ethics.
and I will.
Very
And I will abide by and uphold the Osage County R2 School District Board Member Code of Ethics.
And I will faithfully demean
Well,
myself.
that's one, that's a thing.
And I will faithfully keep myself in office.
All right,
I'm sorry.
congratulations. Wow.
She wants a picture.
And before they get out of here, I want to again thank Dennis Bravadoni for his 9 years of board service and Heidi Kramer for his
Appreciate
6
it.
years of
Thank
board
you.
service.
Old lady on the egg is down. All right.
Just fake in the picture.
Now I said by another one.
Hi, and Dennis, you can't leave. She needs a picture for the yearbook.
Oh, I forgot. We need to take just a brief moment. They need a picture of the old board and a picture of the new board, so.
You're gonna Photoshop
Faith,
it.
you want to do them? You want to do them back there against that wall? Okay. Well, I thought about that, but I wasn't sure would she be able to get your picture without getting the tables? Okay, perfect. So we'll start with the, I hate calling them the old board. It sounds kind of bad, but-
The last yesterday.
Yesterday's board.
Scoot together a little more.
Student. Perfect. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now the new board.
Mark and Naomi stay up there. Brett.
Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, at this time, I will accept nominations for president of the board.
I'll nominate Sean Strong to be president. I'll second.
Sean Strong has been nominated as president, and we have a second. Any other nominations? Okay, so we need a motion to cease nominations and elect Sean Strong as board president by acclamation.
I move we cease nominations and elect Sean as board president by affirmation.
Okay. That's that. All right, Sean, it's all yours.
No, just like that. All right. Take nominations for the position of vice president.
I nominate Hannah Swan for the position of vice president.
Second.
I move we cease nominations and put Hannah Swan as vice president by affirmation.
So moved. Or what is the correct term there?
Next.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Uh,
Hannah Swan's been elected by acclamation
Yes.
as vice president. I will take nominations for secretary of the board.
I move that we make Mark Baker secretary of the board.
We'll second that.
I'll move for the third time that we cease nominations and put Mark as secretary of the board by affirmation.
Congratulations, Mark, as secretary of the board by acclamation. And treasurer, nominations for the position of treasurer.
I nominate Naomi Kluzak as treasurer of the board.
I will second that.
Move that we said Naomi is treasured by acclamation.
Congratulations, Naomi, you've been appointed treasurer by acclamation. And lastly, the custodian of records.
The superintendent has been a custodian of records forever. So if that's what you would still want, you will do that. You will elect me for that, or appoint me to that now, and you will appoint again then. That August, I think. But you'll just have to do it again.
Okay.
I move to appoint superintendent of schools as the custodian of records by acclamation.
I'll second.
Move we cease and make Superintendent Smith custodian of records by affirmation.
Thank you for being the custodian of records by acclamation. Next up, reports.
Enrollment, there for April, we're just one less than last month, we're still sitting at 302 been pre-studied this year. Some events and activities. Kind of want to mention this. Mrs. Wilbur's been working very hard on this year. Has gone out and explored in other districts how this might work, and has brought back and developed the STAR program, which is a research-based program for teaching our students with autism. And so we do have a couple of students who are nonverbal, and trying to reach those students and how we can do that has been, something you want to continue to grow and develop. So she's done a great job of that. We now have a full sped staff with our paras, and so that is fully underway, working one-on-one and coverage. So some exciting work that's going on there that I'm really pleased to see. Morning assembly, that's something the staff really wanted to bring back from a place where we feel like the kids can get together again. And so we brought that back on Friday mornings, and that's been a lot of fun. We recognize our way to the Wildcats in there, staff and student birthdays, with a little music and movement, and just have a little bit of fun to start our day. We've been doing a Who's That Wildcat, so some of our younger students who really don't know our older upper level teachers get a chance to see them and get to know them. And some of our older students who aren't downstairs anymore and don't know some of the new teachers are getting to know them a little bit. So that's been a fun and energizing way to start the day. Field trips, we've got all grade levels who will be heading out. Either one already has, and then some will be heading out soon in April and May to do some learning on the road with some field trips. So our fifth graders went to the Soybean Association, the Farm Bureau Log Cabin in Jeff City last week. Had a great opportunity to learn about agriculture, immigration, Civil War, made some butter. They had a great time. So it was a great trip. Weather cooperated. That was a little tricky that day. We weren't sure, but it worked out fine. We also had a Title I event last week on Thursday morning. We called it Breakfast with Books, and really well attended. We're going to do it in the library. We got such a big response. We moved it to the gym. Ended up having 100 adults here, 114 students here. Got some great feedback from parents. Lots of people just having a good time that morning. The feedback on our survey that we did just was really tremendous and positive. We've got some adults who'd like to sit on a committee with us. We've got 100% said, please have another event like this. We love it. And so welcome in our school, those kinds of things. They felt like it was organized well. The kids all walked away with a book they got to take home with them. And we just had some really positive feedback. So we're excited that that was really overwhelmingly successful. And we do want to have more events like that. So we're glad to finally get people into our building and get to see more of our parents and our community members. We kind of got a Kickstarter recycling team here with our sixth graders. They submitted applications and applied for positions on the recycling team. And so watching them really work and try to coordinate that has been a lot of fun. Had a little quick meet in the hallway with some of them today, and they've been scheduling some opportunities to go into the classrooms and teach the kids about recycling. And so I'm anxious to see where they take that program for us. Got several stepping up, if you want to call it, celebrations in our building this year. Kindergarten, obviously, we usually have some kind of celebration with what they've achieved this year. And then fifth and sixth, both moving to the middle school. We're going to celebrate both of those grade levels. And our second grade team was really pointing out that our kindergarten, when they were in kindergarten, didn't get to finish the end of their kindergarten year. And so they've never really gotten to have that like stepping up celebration. And they're downstairs and going to move upstairs. So they're going to do a stepping up, and we'll have them walk up the steps. So I'm kind of excited about what they're going to do there, but lots of celebrating our students. We had Mrs. Faith, one of our sixth grade teachers, reached out to one of the local conservation agents, and he ended up coming in, and we ended up having a program with all of our grade levels. He brought a lot of special friends with him. I happened to walk in just as he was bringing out the snake, so I really didn't get any pictures. I relied on the teachers for that, but the kids loved it. It was really a great opportunity for us to connect with our conservation agent. Just touching base again in reading and math. Our kindergarten, first and second grade classes, they're diligently working on their reading intervention process. Students are all placed according to their specific learning need. We're having some great instruction going on. We put them in small groups, and we ended up having 3 volunteers from the community that are coming in and actually working with our students as well, which has been great. So big thank you to Leslie Herndon, Patsy Brandt, and Jeannie Broden, who under the guidance of Mrs. Plume, our Title I teacher, are also helping to support our students' learning. Dr. Brown, who's been working with us this year and helping to make our change over to the science of reading, has been here. She's modeled a lot of lessons this year. We videoed those so that we could build a video bank for new teachers that come in, or if as teachers shift in what they're trying to teach, they can go on and look at maybe a fluency lesson or a small group phonics lesson and see what that might look like. And then I want to just point out our second grade made huge gains and evaluate this month in reading a 14% jump. So we want to see those things happen, but we also know that our foundational skills are not fully in place, and it's going to take a little while for us to really see that growth in the second, third, and fourth grade levels right now, but they're doing the just right work that needs to be done to close those gaps. Math students are utilizing their intervention small group times to fill in the gaps in learning, using our evaluate data and some of their classroom data. Third grade made a huge jump, 10% this month. Fifth grade jumped up 13%, and sixth grade jumped up 12%. So really all around and evaluate, we're showing now that the majority of our students are now proficient in math. So we're really excited to see that kind of growth. And the teachers have worked very hard. Our students have worked very hard, and just huge kudos to them with the curriculum work and everything that they've done. Also want to point out our spring concert, the second, third graders. If you had an opportunity to be here, I'm going to tell you, you couldn't have walked out without a smile on your face, because that was the most energetic, wonderful concert you could ever imagine, with smiling kids. So really a great job to Mr. Vick and Mr. Tucker. Really great concert that night. Map testing begins tomorrow in our building, runs through May 5th. We've got first grade does their annual living zoo this week. And then Cardinals, Mr. Tucker has taken our fourth, fifth, and sixth graders to a Cardinals game on April 25th, and we're going to sing during the seventh inning stretch. So that's going to be a fun opportunity for our students. So any questions?
What day for living zoo?
The living zoo is on the 21st,
Thursday.
30th.
Thank you for, my kids have been talking about the morning assemblies, so thank you.
Good, yes, it's been a lot of fun. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. A lot going on. Middle school, high school report.
You guys got my report. The only thing I have new is Mrs. Peterson came to me today, and Emma Fennell actually scored fourth. The exact number isn't out yet because they're still getting the tally, but out of over 2,000 students in the ACES state competition, which is the academic challenge in engineering and science in the physics test. So she took fourth place out of over 2,000 students. So we just got that news in this morning, so we'll get pictures and everything with her tomorrow. She wanted to make sure Emma knew first and her parents knew before we plastered it all over. That's great news for us. I'll take any questions you may have.
Are we still making progress on D's and F's?
Yes, we dropped down. We're at 18% now. So we are dropping down. We're struggling with the same handful of students. We're down to, I think we're now 36 students that have 2 or more Fs. We're looking at creative ways to try to build those relationships this year, and then next year try to create an at-risk or a homeroom. We're doing away with the seminar, but having an extra 15 minutes with fifth hour to do a homeroom, so those teachers can kind of build better relationships with those kids, and we're going to get a homeroom philosophy going. So we're doing better. Where teachers are doing a great job trying to work with it. It's just trying to get those students to get engaged is where we're struggling right now. And it's the same students this semester, and you look back last year, it's the same students. So we just need to find that switch that we can get them engaged.
The homeroom component you just spoke of,
Yes.
like the students with D's and F's exclusively are there?
No, what we're going to do, right now we have a 22-minute seminar for freshmen and sophomores, and then a 22-minute seminar for juniors and seniors while the other people lunch. What we're doing there is that doesn't work very good because the kids aren't normally they're with not necessarily their core teachers. We haven't been able to manage that very well where those students will utilize that time. So what we're planning on doing is with our ISS teacher next year, we're going to have 2 of them, 3 hours in the morning. They're going to have the most 10 or 15 at-risk kids, and they're going to be basically their homeroom teacher, and they're going to check their grades weekly, daily, and make sure those kids, if they're missing any assignments, they report to them. And then during fifth hour, those students that have that teacher, if it's math, science, or whatever, they'll have an extra 15 minutes. So those teachers will be able to look at them and say, hey, Billy or Joey, you're missing these assignments, and we can get in there. So we're just trying to look at a different way to look at getting those kids engaged. And by taking that seminar time, it's actually going to allow us to add 4 more minutes into our core classes, so they can be with those core teachers a little bit longer, and teachers that need time with instead of a teacher that doesn't teach science or math or English. Since we looked at that as a staff, we felt that the seminar time has kind of weighed itself out. So we're trying to look at new ways to try to get those Ds and Fs up.
It looked like there were quite a few students that were being added to the honor society list.
Very good. Yeah. We, again, our grades are doing, it's still, it looks like a large percentage, and it is. We never want any Ds and Fs, but we need to, we also need to focus on how well our kids are achieving too. I mean, we're doing great things. We had 86 kids score achievement wise on the comp test. I mean, we have some fantastic kids. So we still have a handful. We need to bring them up to speed. It's not that they're not capable. We just need to find that trigger that will get them engaged. But our teachers are fantastic. We have great staff.
Very good. Thank you. Do we have an athletic report?
No, Mr. Garrett didn't have a written report this month. I did just want to give him a pat on the back. He participated in the Boston Marathon yesterday and ended up with a 7-minute, just slightly over 7-minute mile, and scored 2,933rd out of 30,000 participants or something. So I couldn't run 26 miles in a month. So pat on the back to him for that. But no, we don't have a written athletic report this month.
Okay. Very impressive. Do we know when they're going to get back out here to maybe do some?
They were supposed to be here last Friday and the rain came in. Now they're looking for trying to get back this week, this weekend, or by this weekend, but now the rain's trying to get
Tomorrow.
in. So the weather's not been cooperative whatsoever. But we're the first on their list once the weather breaks and they can get in. So they just need to get in and get that irrigation system and then laser grade it, and then we need to get it seeded.
All right. Very good. Superintendent report.
You do have my report in your packets, and so I'm not going to necessarily go over everything. Some of it's repetitive of what the principals have already indicated. I do want to point out that our juniors did take the ACT on April 5th, so that was recently done. We have MAP and EOC coming up, and we also have our AP classes testing the first part of May. So it's just that time of the year where we are doing a lot of assessing and getting ready for that end of the year. Again, this something that is also upcoming. If you have a chance to come out and watch the spring play, that's coming up this weekend. So I know Mr. Fick and his kids have been working.
Wasn't the play a couple weeks ago?
I was going to say they have it on the calendar again for this weekend, is it
No,
not?
that's off. That should have been removed from the calendar.
Okay, it's still on
It was
there.
last week.
I was going to say I knew it was, but they had it on the calendar for this
No,
week too. So okay,
Yeah.
well, never mind, you
Yeah.
missed it.
That has been removed.
And then at last month, last week, we had the elementary HVAC project kickoff meeting. So it is scheduled to start May 24th. On that morning at 7 a.m., we are going to do a walkthrough with Rehagen, just to make sure that we have everything cleared off that needs to be cleared off for them to do the project, everything put away that needs to be put away, designate some storage spaces for ceiling tiles, that kind of thing. They have already started on the concrete pad that's out by the administration building. They're moving that unit that sits out the back door. They're moving it to a separate concrete pad over by the big unit, because what happens is in the winter time, that thing constantly defrosts and creates a solid sheet of ice on that pavement right there. And so it's a pretty major safety hazard. So part of what was bid was moving that unit down on the grassy area so that it's not a safety hazard. So they have started that already. And then at the last board meeting, Hannah had mentioned, once we're done with the HVAC project and we did the roof project, are we to the point of where we may not have any major projects coming up? And I just listed some of the things that have been on the radar. Again, it will be up to you guys to decide what you do and when, but those are just some of the things that have been on the radar that are going to need to be done in the near future. One thing I know right now that's an issue is our back drive. We put gravel on it about a month ago as a temporary fix, hoping to get us to where we could fix it. And they were supposed to start fixing it last week. And as Mr. Jacques mentioned, it has just rained and rained and rained. And so the plan is, it needs a new crown on it. So the plan is to re-crown it, because right now it's holding water in the center. And so every time somebody drives over it, it just bumps the gravel up and we get bigger and bigger potholes. So the plan is to re-crown it, kind of make some ditch areas for that water to drain into, and then put some more gravel down. We just need it to quit raining long enough for us to be able to accomplish that. So I know it's a mess and we're trying to get that accomplished.
Are we doing that, or are you having somebody do it? Like West-
You guys
West
and,
Bailey's gonna do it.
and
Okay,
Joe Neuner's
okay,
helping. Yes.
very good. All right, thank you very much. Discussion action item. What do we have first?
Library.
Library program evaluation.
We need to come up there.
Oh, you might as well come on up.
Come on down.
You heard that.
No, I used to be like 12-year-olds. I'm Robin Baker. I am the library media specialist here in the elementary, and if it's not public knowledge, I'm promoting myself with the, hopefully everyone's okay with that, to the high school next year. So to get to a point where I think you have to grow up with your kids, and my kids are growing up, and first grade's hard. First grade's hard for me right now. So I'm excited to be moving there, but currently our current library program is something to be proud of. I know it's not always fun, it's not exciting to talk about, but I think that our library program here at Lynn is really good. We are fortunate, as you can see in the report. We have 2 full-time librarians. We have myself, and then Andrew Medley is over at the high school. And we both library media specialists. So we have our master's in library science, and that's something that a lot of schools this size don't always have. So I'm grateful that the board several years ago agreed to do that, and that I can be a part of that. In the library program, you can see the goals that we have. We want to be accessible to our kids and the staff. We want to provide technology and information. We want to collaborate with our teachers, and we want to teach the level of reading. And then we want to create an environment that kids want to be a part of. And I feel like Andrew, again, not to post ourselves, but I feel like Andrew and I both try to do a really good job of making sure that kids feel comfortable, of being accessible in each of our schools. I teach classes during the day, and I know Andrew, I think maybe has 1 or 2 classes, 3 classes that he teaches to the high school, middle school kids. And then I've got to be a part of the reading program that we're doing here. So I think we both try in our different ways to be a part of what's going on to make ourselves accessible to the kids and the teachers and everyone else. So again, I am grateful to the board for allowing us to have two librarians, and I just appreciate all that you all have done. And I'm happy where the library is, and I hope that we can continue to make it a good thing and continue to have kids learning and reading. So any questions for me? Don't make them too hard. I didn't prepare.
What are you using for LMS? What software?
We're using Follett.
Follett.
Is our program that we use in both buildings.
Okay.
Follett Destiny. Yeah, it's really good. I like it. It's what we've used the entire time that I've been here.
Very good. Questions? All right.
Kids excited about the books that they picked up at the breakfast the other day. You say anything?
No, and I have to admit, I was outside doing my morning duty, so I wasn't actually in there, but the Title I people did an awesome job. And it's fun when kids get excited. And we are going to have, just for general knowledge, we're going to have another book fair here in the elementary the week that school gets out. So, but it's a buy one, get one free. So we'll put lots of books in kids' hands for the summer. and they get excited, and parents are gonna be here so they can come buy books. So we're so excited about that, so. Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Technology program evaluation.
Bring up the rest of the technology department up here with me. My name's Eric Morfell, Tech Director, Tech Department. And wear many hats around here. It's been another busy year, a lot of just maintenance and upkeep and support calls. Nothing too spectacular, flashy we did this year. Is mostly maintain and keep things going. One of the big things is more Chromebooks. You can see a chart there. Over the past 8 years, we've added Chromebooks every year, and we're getting about to a saturated point, so that we're going to be 1-to-1 for grades 1 through 12 right now, with some extras in the libraries. The teachers all have Chromebooks, and some staff members do. So a lot of Chromebooks to keep up and maintain with. So far, we've just been buying them new every year, adding. But now we're getting to the point where our older ones need to be retired. So we're going to start transitioning from adding Chromebooks to keeping the cycle going. So, but where we're at now, pretty much we've got pretty close about as many Chromebooks as we need. Now we're just focusing on keep what we go and keep what we have up to date and make sure keep them going. So this summer I'm planning on taking the first ones out of service. Also last spring we got about 30 access points just to like I said, add connection for all these devices and just replace some of our aging access points there. We purchased 5 projectors this last summer due to supply chain and all this COVID stuff. They didn't, 4 of them arrived right before Christmas break, so I got those put in. Still waiting for the 5th one. They keep telling me it should be coming in within the next, by the end of this month. So that's the latest word I heard from them. And then, so we've ordered a few more to add. Hopefully they'll get here before the end of the summer. And then after that, we should be in pretty good shape on projectors. And so all the teachers have what they need to show their lessons up in front of kids. And recently work was completed. Steve, he built in a new office over in his new wood shop over there. So I was working on getting that wired up, getting connections of his phone and computer and getting that all set up. There really wasn't anything out there before, so just getting all that hooked up for him. So he's ready to go for that. Upcoming projects, mainly this summer, just the normal summer stuff, plus this HVAC, elementary HVAC is going to be a lot of added work here. We're going to a lot of temporary locations for staff members, moving stuff around, moving stuff to summer school. If I need to talk to these HVAC guys, if I need to pull down access points and intercoms off the ceiling grids, because I think it's oh, I've got stuff hanging off of those too. So you take care of that. So a lot of work just to be done this summer with the HVAC work on top of the normal summer work. And then moving 6th grade to junior high is another project, not that major, but still something that something different for this summer to do. Also working on replacing our surveillance servers, where what we're doing now is recordings go to this the surveillance servers that they're getting some age on them. They need to be replaced, and maybe switching to something different that'll be a little bit more accessible for admins and stuff. So that would hopefully work a little bit better for them. And another one on the list of to-dos is our main physical servers here that they need to be replaced. So that's just one of the other things on the to-do list. So anybody have any questions?
For the Chromebooks, they seem to be pretty bulletproof. I mean, how much of your time do you spend keeping those things up? That's a lot of Chromebooks.
If they take good care of them, they'll take quite a bit of abuse. And it's just kind of the kids lapse in attentiveness kind of gets stuff. They'll leave stuff on their keyboard, slam them shut, and then they'll bust the screen. But I'm getting pretty good. I can replace the screen in under 5 minutes now.
Really?
So, but those stuff like that's getting used to, getting better, quicker at. But they're overall they hang in there pretty well. They take some pretty good abuse.
So it's it's not a software issue. It's always a physical issue.
Yeah. It's there's some software things, but usually I could do a quick reset in a couple minutes, and usually that takes care of it. So, as far as maintenance stuff, they work better than PCs, like computer labs stuff. Some of the hardware in that you have to work more on, and kind of there can be a little bit more finicky. But the Chromebooks, there's a lot more you can centrally manage, and just kind of easier to kind of take care of all in one place. But overall, I think they've worked out pretty well for us.
Server replacement, that's in your budget?
I'll talk to this incoming superintendent. We'll kind of figure out budget and kind of get some.
Okay. Those can be
bids on-
super expensive depending on what.
Yeah,
you're getting.
depending on what we get, I need to, that's not an urgent thing, but just
Okay.
something that I'm not sure if it'll be done this summer or start working on it, maybe middle next year, kind of get stuff in place for over Christmas break replacement or something like that. Just kind of start transitioning stuff over to.
On those Chromebooks, what's the lifespan usually of a Chromebook?
Every model has basically an end of life date on it. So after a certain date, they stop getting security updates and feature updates. So they will work, and even our oldest ones, they're actually past their expiration date. They still work, they just don't get the newest update. So eventually there'll be some website that won't work, or there might be like a security thing that we really should be aware of and need to take them off. But yeah, every model has basically their own end of life date. So when we buy them, we make sure that that date is as far out as it can be.
Sure.
But yeah, that's pretty. Like I said, they still work. They just the websites and things like that start falling off on them.
It's like 5 years, isn't it?
Depends on the model. Google, when like this COVID hit, they actually extended some end of service dates on some of their Chromebooks. They pushed it back a year or two.
Right.
But it was nice of them. But they would push more updates to it. But normally you buy new ones, depending on if they're just released new model, 7, 8 years maybe almost. But like if you buy like last year's model off Amazon, then it might be 5.
Yeah, we have those, and like, we're on 7 years with that.
Yeah.
I know that like where I'm at, like, but it's like you said, they did change the model.
Yeah.
But like the old ones are educationally functional.
Yeah.
For our world. I mean, like it's pretty good product going right now, sounds like. I mean, that's
Yeah.
where folks are, that's what people are using now.
Yeah.
Other questions? All right, thank you very much. A lot going on. All right, the Fresh Ideas Contract Amendment.
When we entered into a contract with Fresh Ideas last year, they provided us with a fixed price for every year for 5 years. And so this amendment is just outlining the prices as they will be next year. So that's what we're asking. The actual amendment you have in your folder, but I'll pull it up there too, that shows what the prices will be, this is what we get charged for next year. So it's just an amendment outlining the prices for next year.
I didn't go back and do the calculations, but I assume it was that whatever the inflationary rate times the numbers from last year.
Yeah,
and that's how
it's
you got to it.
exactly what they put in their chart from last year. I made sure.
And so then I thought, well, why do we do it every year? And I thought, well, at least that keeps track of where you are year to year.
Right.
to year. And I
Right.
figure that's probably why they do it.
Yes.
Okay.
I think we wanted the option to not renew if we didn't want to. So every year we'll have the option to renew.
Have things gone pretty well with them early in the year? I know there were a few hiccups, but
Early in the year, we had quite a few hiccups, which you're always gonna have when you transition. And of course, it's a brand new food service director who's never done it before, so that's always, it's kind of like a first year teacher. That's always a learning curve for them too. Things have gotten better. There's still some things that the admin team and I have talked about. I actually sat down with Shannon Pike today, and we made sure that we went over any problems that are still occurring so that she is aware of them, and she's the regional manager. And so, like I said, any first year when you have a brand new person in charge and a brand new company, you're gonna have a transition period, but things have gotten better. One thing I will say is Krista is very open to talking and trying to problem solve. I know earlier in the year, one of the issues we had was it was taking forever for our elementary kids to get through the line. So she and Tracy had a conversation, they came up with a system, that's no longer a problem. So she's very open to that sort of thing. I think some of the problems that we've had, it's just a lack of knowledge.
very good. Has anybody heard any complaints as of late? All right. I get a motion to approve the Fresh Ideas contract amendment.
I move to approve it.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor of approving or other discussion? Okay. Got a motion of second to approve the Fresh Ideas contract. All in favor, raise your right hand. Opposed? Passes. And accept resignations or retirements. How would you like to handle that? Could we do all the resignations at once and the retirements at once?
Yeah, I think so. So,
Okay.
so your resignations then would be Ashlyn Doctorman, Trisha Ely, Natalie LePage, Andrew Medley, Ron LaBelle, Brandy Moore, and Nick Pick.
Can I get a motion to approve the previously mentioned resignation?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, we accept the resignations of the previously mentioned individuals. Oh, got to vote. Yeah, we do. Right. Opposed?
And so your retirements then are Lisa Walsh and Nancy Nolan.
I move to accept the retirements of Lisa Walsh and Nancy Nolan.
I'll second.
Discussion? Seeing none, raise your right hand if you vote to accept those retirements. Opposed? All right. I want to thank the retirees for their service to the school. It is definitely appreciated.
On the last day of school, excuse me, I caught something yesterday. At noon, we will have a lunch for all of the staff, and at that time, we will all recognize all of the retirees for the district. You're welcome to attend that. It'll be in the high school cafeteria at noon on May 20th.
Do you know off the top of your head how long Nancy and Lisa have been with the district?
Oh, not off the top of my head.
Long time or?
Lisa has been 23-ish
Wow.
years, I think.
overlapped me, so.
And Nancy, I believe around 15.
I think
Okay.
Nancy's 14, she came when I.
Okay, maybe 14.
Okay, both of them, that's a good long run.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Announcements. Like we have commencement on May 15th at what time? Do we know?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock. All right, there. Everybody add that to their calendar. And next regular meeting is 2 days later on May 17th at 6:30. All right, with that, I get a motion to adjourn. Do I adjourn directly to the closed session or I don't adjourn the meeting?
Return to closed session.
Can I get a motion to adjourn to closed session?
I'll move that we adjourn to closed session to discuss approval of closed session minutes, discussion of personnel matters, sections 610.021, legal, personnel, personal records, and student matters 0.06.
I have a second.
Second.
Roll call vote. Art,
Yes.
Lana,
Yes.
Naomi,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Jamie.
Yes.
All right, we are now moved to closed session.